Welcome, folks. It's been a while. It's the 11th of July, so I haven't really touched in other than doing some shorts about some RV project I'm doing on the side. Um, which, I've been waiting for some parts from Amazon, so that's why there hasn't been updates. I haven't been working on it really. Took some of the interior out just for poops and giggles. Uh, Put in a new heavy duty modernized radio so I can actually use the backup camera and because these big RVs they're a pain in the butt to park. But starts every time now, so that's good. Trying to trade off the the boat for a truck, so I'd have some sort of vehicle to move stuff around with. I'm not going to get my Suburban back until I come back in next spring, which really sucks because it means I have no ride while I'm here. So I'm going to work on the car I have in my garage and get it running. So at least maybe for the last week or when I go to Wonderland, I can use it instead of renting a vehicle. But I'm excited. I'm down to the 40 days till I get to go home to the Philippines. And I'm not doing politics on this channel. I know some of you folks know me from the other channel I used to have. Um, I'm very seriously debating making a separate channel. I'll look into that more. I mean, look how little I update on this. I'm just not really a vlogging guy. And one of the issues when you go back to the Philippines now is they've got new vlogging laws, making it really difficult to vlog anywhere in public. You pretty much got to do what I'm doing here. I'm sitting in a trailer, right? Shout out to one of the other guys, another Canadian I know, who's a big Trump fan. And he broadcasts out of his trailer with an RCMP outfit behind him. I love it. I've got my basic suit and tie wardrobe in here with me now too, because I took everything out of the RV and I took everything out of the truck I had been using for storage when I left for the Philippines. Um, I'm going to put it all together in another truck, which is locked in a building, and just hope, that I don't come back to the same poop show I came to this time when I got here. So, um, I've started looking at some remote work jobs and stuff. There's so many of them, but it's hard to know which ones are scams. So one of the advices I definitely am going to give people is I think that if you're doing anything like that, open up a completely separate bank account that you would release to those people for payment methods and all that crap, the way they get stuff to. Um, don't link your real stuff to anything. My whole life I've always had a separate account just for insurance. Right now I use a credit card, so that this way I don't get a bounce, but the insurance company can't just go crazy, and a credit card will shut someone down right away if they try and take stuff, and they'll take back the money, and so not dealing with the banks screwing you over. But for some of us expats over there, you only have one Western account, so you really don't want to be having any remote workplace or any other sketchy online thing, rental company over there even, directly pulling out of that main account. Set up a separate account for those kinds of things. And I wouldn't even blend multiple. If it comes down to the end of the day, you've got 10 accounts, so what? You're on the internet now. And they can't be with the same bank, mind you, because the same bank will just take from one to the other to screw because they want to pay out the other guy and just take it from you. So you don't want that either. You're not going to have 10 because there's not 10 banks. I mean, some countries, sure, China, but here in Canada, we got 6 or 7. So theoretically, I could go and open an account, each one, and have those designated. One's my YouTube channel profits. And I know this channel, I'm not supposed to be trying to make a profit. It's not monetized. It's really just to promote the show and the progress on the show. It's not about, and my blog of travel, what it took to get everything done. It's not supposed to be, but I think that if I do the other channel, guys, the political channel, I'd probably monetize that, and I'd go back to my old format, of course. I've seen some channels just in the past year go crazy, just hundreds of thousands of followers in a short period of time, and they're good channels. I follow them. That's why I know they're going up, right? But then I've seen other guys like the Wi Files, where he's in 4 or 5 million now, and I joined him when he was 40,000 people, right? Less than 3 years ago. So that's really good turnout. So when I lost my old channel and I was at a really, really, really high sub, I did say, I'm never going to do YouTube again. Because first off, back then I didn't need the money. It was only about $1,200 a month. It really wasn't that much. I mean, now that's a lot. Now that would keep me going over there. That would be, I'd put it all towards the show to get the show done, right? But this channel I can't monetize as part of the arrangement. I'm just supposed to be promoting the show and showing what I did to get there, kind of thing. And I was allowed to do a bit of a travel blog, so I can talk about that stuff. But like I said, I think the rules now in the Philippines are going to be very difficult. If you looked at a lot of my old videos, maybe I would say a third of them are not this kind of format or me interviewing someone. They're me walking around. There's people in the view. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not like these guys who walk up to girls and start talking to them in video. Cause I understand why they have these new laws, and I actually kind of support them. We have them over here, right? I mean, realistically, you can't just go up on people over here and do stuff, or you'll get in trouble, right? So, um, it makes sense to me. But it means that a lot of bloggers are going to be leaving the Philippines for sure, which means that might mean more followers for me, and but not as good for my restaurant. So, because what I've been getting a lot of mail about that. Well, when you coming back and where you opening up? I don't know. I've already looked at renting a vehicle. So when I get back in like September, I can rent a vehicle. And if I'm staying in Gensan, I'll stay in Gensan. I'll renew the business visa and all that other fun stuff because I won't be leaving for 7 to 8 months, no matter what. And maybe not even more. I've told the family unit if they don't need me, if they got their crap together, if everything's working, then I'm not needed here. And if my little sidekick, one of my adopted sons, who wants to do fish for me, will do December well, then I'm wearing a fish shirt actually. Then I'll just let him do next summer and make the money. For me, the real issue is I love my customers, of course, but that is what it's about. It's I don't want them not having quality product, and if they're not even getting it, I thought they'd just all be moving to other clients. And I admit the sales this summer have sucked, but the boy did nothing for a year and a half. Do you know what I mean? So people die, people give up, people find new sources, right? But I do have enough of a core audience where, at least while I was here, it covered my ends. My problem is I can't just go back to the Philippines with nothing, right? So I'm going to do a remote job because I'm not even getting any work done on the show. And I did meet the deadline for the end of May for the season 2 script synopsis, but I was too much of a synopsis. They need me to flesh it out more because, we see where you're going with it. And I sent them an email back. I haven't heard back yet now, but the email I sent back said, well, I've also got most of season 3 done. And I added things into season 1 and season 2 that linked to season 3's finale to give it that whole, jumpy goodness, right? So, some M. Night Shyamalan kind of goodness. But, no, it's just one of those things where I don't know when that's going to mature. I love the show. That's why this channel is here. But I have to be realistic. And, even if I get it done, they've always warned me, when I submit the pilot and they approve it, I'm at least 3 to 6 months from a paycheck. Ouch, because they got to translate, they got to do this, they got to do that, blah, 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 blah. The other side of it is, the world may be suffering a little bit of a mini recession. So if some of these streaming services aren't going to be buying new stuff, and I've watched so much stuff get cut at the one that we have our deal with, then I gotta look at other options, right? So I can't just wait on that. I have to be practical, and so I think a remote job is good, or I pick up some sort of maybe an office-y gig, like a hotel gig in some other country that's not the Philippines. If I'm going to stay in the Philippines, then it's open up the bar again, right? Now, I obviously have someone to help with all that for the legal side, but it's still money. Now, I own most of the equipment for at least one location, and I've already got a really good established clientele in Gensan. So, and I did just watch on another channel that I watch all the time, Calvin's channel there, he showcased a guy, and I'm actually going to his town because that's where my person of interest in the Philippines has a base. So it's like, of course I want to try and develop in San Carlos. And I watched a few different Brits who toured the town lately, and they were all like, there's nowhere to eat at night, nothing to do, blah, blah, blah. And I found that too when I did 2 weeks there. So, or not even 2 weeks, I mean, a week, But I was also busy doing other things for the show and for this and that, and I was tired, and I really wanted to go swimming on that side island. But anyways, I digress. So I would think about maybe, if I'm not staying in Jinsan, I rent that truck and I drive all the way up the Menandro Island. Now, I will definitely be doing daily postings when I do that, if I do that. Pretty much as soon as I fly out. It's going to be every day again, folks. What happens here is, and I'll do two. I'll do one here and I'll do one on the new channel, quote, quote. But it's one of those things where I just don't get time to sit and do this. I don't have good reception. It takes a day plus to load up a video. So it's just not really practical. That's why I did little short ones for the RV, because I do want to build a following. So please like, follow, share, tell your friends to like, follow, share, and like I said, this channel isn't monetized. I'm not trying to build subs on this channel for money. I'm doing it because I really want the word out, and if I can help you in your travel to the Philippines, like I had one couple back out that was said, oh, we're going with you in August, so I still got one couple and 6 single guys who want to go, who know what day I'm flying out. One of them said he'll definitely meet me at the airport that morning. I don't care. I'm getting my own ride. I'm getting on the plane no matter what. If they don't show because they're all talk and they chicken out or whatever. I also warn the couple, if they don't buy their tickets soon, it might not be a ticket, at least on the same flight. Now, they can still come into all the same things right behind me, because there's another plane that leaves like an hour later. It doesn't stop in Calgary like mine. Instead, it stops in Winnipeg or somewhere else along the way before Vancouver, and then they do the same flight as me. So probably, just maybe, that's when we all link up together, right, is in Vancouver. Especially because 2 of the guys are from Edmonton. So they're going to be flying from Edmonton to Vancouver anyway. But my flight doesn't stop in Vancouver. But almost all of them do. So that's why I was warning these new people who want to come along. You got to get your ticket now. I mean, not just with the price point. I mean, you're still not going to get the deal I got. I got a fantastic deal. My ticket back was $750. Taxes in, luggage. My problem is I need more luggage, because I'm going there to stay and to do stuff. Like, I left last time really thinking I was just going to be gone for 3 months. I also thought I'd have the show done in 8 months, no problem. And I would theoretically have, but I ran out of money, and I started to focus too much on other parts of the show that aren't related to getting the pilot done. And sometimes when I watch these other channels, they say that. They're like, oh, guys come over here with a plan to this, that, and then they get distracted and they don't do nothing and blah, 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 blah. Now, for those other guys, they're chasing skirts all day. I'm not. I get stuck on the bar, right? So, and since I don't speak Filipino, I didn't do very well, and I don't have the ability to do anything but sit there and wait for clients and hope I get some. And it was always my expats that kept me going. Almost, not true. I would say at least 75%, because I have quite a few actual Filipino people who I've already met, who came to the place, who had one of my burgers, who loved it. They're like, when you back? Like, actually, I'm crazy. I was complaining because how slow the old page for the restaurant was growing, and now it's actually doing really well since I've been here. Now, I really thank Carefree Chris. I'm sure being on his video helped a lot. When I go back, I'd like to be on Cal's channel, so he gets a good turnaround. And since he's interviewing other expats with restaurants, and I might be even setting up in San Carlos, I want the guy to come catch a bench. I keep seeing him in hotels lately, so I hope everything's cool with him. But and there's a few others that I follow that are on and off, in and out of the Dumaguete area. So, I mean, San Carlos is not that far. And I got to be honest, if I don't have to come back next season, and I can stay there for like a year plus solid, I'm going to get a vehicle, like in the first 2-3 weeks, instead of renting one, because it's going to be like $10K minimum plus gas to rent and drive all my stuff from Gensan to San Carlos. And then I've got to have to drive the truck back, because in the Philippines, it's not like Hertz or anything like that. You can't like take a vehicle from one town and drop it off somewhere else. No. You have to take it back to the guy you rented it from, because he's a small shop. He really only deals with people in town normally, right? So that it's a different situation, which sucks, because I'll be honest, I think there'd be huge money for a Western collection to get together. And I would definitely be willing to help do boots on the ground, at least in Montenandro, which everyone's afraid of, but trust me, there's no reason to be afraid. To do a Hertz like franchise over there, or an enterprise. Like, I don't know. I'm so busy with the show, I haven't been looking into that, but I'm telling you, if you get 2 or 3 locations on some islands, maybe at the major airports at least, because they just don't have that. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Just like storage facilities. Like, I already talked to my friend. I'm like, look, I got a few ideas when I go back. One of them is I want to find one of these abandoned resorts. There's another Canadian that I follow on his channel. He's like, oh, I found one here and I found one there, but he doesn't say where. But that's what I want. I want the guys who've already been there, done that route. Tell me, I'll go to that island. I'll boat to that island. I'll make that part of my September chore, and I'll go suss it. Because I'd love to maybe set up like a retirement community over there. Like, I don't want to be getting into the stage of uh, breaking too many rules, but I would have Filipinos owning it, or have a shareholder system or something for the paperwork side. But I mean, the Filipinos have great nurses and stuff, right? So, and they make so little. So, for them, it's very hard to leave the country. It costs them enough where they pretty much got to sell a kid. Um, that's a joke, folks. So, but what happens is if they could work in country, a lot of them would prefer that. Especially if it's like, you come in for 3 weeks, you go home for 3 weeks. Because that's how I would work my shift if I had an old age home over there. So, and you don't have to pay half the wages you pay here. But I keep seeing in other people's videos, especially the Dumagetti guys, where sometimes, and I mean, bless his heart, he's a great guy. He gets some people on his show that are, I don't think they should be alone over here. Like, they need some sort of parachute. I guess that's the term. And also on the other guy channel, Asia Now, whatever, he does news, so I just watch him for the news that goes on because he catches the headlines and translates them. But a lot of expats are dying alone, old, broke, on the streets. Those are guys who obviously got into bad things, maybe drinking too much or whatever, or they just didn't plan. But in the same sense, it's like, how do you not be able to fly home? Now, maybe there's nowhere to come back to. I fully understand that. I had no clue. Anyone who watched the videos before I came, you know how I was. I was really, what am I going to come back to? Am I even going to be able to come back? So, a part of me wishes I didn't, because holy crap, it was way worse, as people who watch the channel know, than I could even have imagined. And I'm definitely not happy here. Like, I'm counting down the days till I can get out. You know what I mean? So, I've gained a bit of weight again too. It's the bread. It really is the bread. But I digress. This is the wrong channel for all these little side tangents. So, but yeah, no, my plan is when I go back in September to assess what I'm going to do, but also to start getting some drawings done, to get some more work done on the project. Like, I want it to be done this year by the end of the year. And if I had 5 or 6 decent artists and an editor, I could be done that no problem. And so part of what I was really debating doing, I really resisted doing this, but there are studios over there that I already talked to, like in my first few weeks when I first went to Manila. I don't know if I ever did anything on this channel about that, but when I was looking for corporate sponsors too, and I didn't achieve any corporate sponsors. Tandu, I never replied back, and I harassed them hard. Like, I sent them 20 emails, and I showed up at their office in Manila. I did go to Jollibee. I did get contacts. Unfortunately, just they don't have an instant system. It's like a ridiculous 5-year vetting process. So it wasn't going to happen. That's why they'll be edited out of what they've already been put into. But there's so many other of these chicken joints, and I might just talk to the Colonel. I just didn't want to do the Colonel. But so corporate sponsors, I've already talked with all the 2 contractor people that would be buying the show. I'm allowed to do product placement. So there's so many things I can slip in, like my friends with Red Bull. I love you, thank you so much, because they're a sponsor, right? So it's just one of these things where, if not of this channel, of the show, just want to make sure, because it looks like, oh, he says it wasn't monetized. I'm not. But it's one of these things where I think that that's a great way for me to get funds originally, to put into the show, right? So this way, I wasn't pocketing it. I was literally using it to pay artists and redo things and blah, 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 blah. I really stretched that out a lot, what I did get. So, My problem is I need more, right? Not a lot, but a bit. So that or sell shares. But if I go with the studio over there, since I've already talked to them, now at least when I come to them, I'm not coming to them with fragments of a script and an idea and a stupid letter from one company. Um, Now I'm going to them with 69 minutes worth of done. Still needs to be edited. I think we've dropped down to 65. There's a whole lot of useless walking and dragged out shots. And that's what happens when you pay by the minute. You get artists who make those minutes stretch so they get as much out of you as they can, which no harm, no foul. I fully understand it. You're broke, blah, blah, blah. But it just dries out the storyline. It makes it harder to watch, right? So, my original goal when I was looking for artists and editors was I wanted them to become part of a private team. Do you know what I mean? I wanted them to feel invested in this project enough where they did a good job, they gave it their 110%, and not just because they were looking for instant scratch. There was instant scratch and didn't ask for any freebies, but just so they would get invested in the long-term project. So I could be doing this. Like, I should theoretically already be done season 1. Not just the pilot, but like the other 6 episodes that come after that, right? But we don't, obviously. We have some scenes and some characters. But, I need to get the pilot done. I really, 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 really do. So my goal is, I think, to focus on that from like pretty much October 1st on. Make that a priority. If I'm doing an online job, I can do an online job. I can own a small bar restaurant over there. Like I said, the resort idea is really accommodating too, because I can do multiple things. I could even have like D&D related summer camps for adults, where they fly out. They have a 2-week stay in an amazing beach resort. It costs them literally what they spend for 2 or 3 nights in a hotel here. You pay for the flight mostly, and if you're not a geek who doesn't like ladies, well, you're the Philippines. You're gonna have a good time, and the cheap drinks. I mean, I did the math for a friend. A bottle of Tanduay is $3 of our dollars. Like, you're just not convincing me it's not great. And a bottle of Tanduay is like, way bigger than this guy. So it is what it is. And it's straight rum. And it's not that bad. Here's the thing, I'll be honest, I'm not a hard alcohol drinker, and I'm not condoning drinking on the channel, or this is a kids show channel, blah, blah, blah. But it's just one of these things where if they're adults, or they want to be an adult come with their kid or whatever, and then we have, G-rated day games and stuff. The game is not X and R rated. It's a kids game in the sense that it's young adults, it's adults. D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, people know it. Look it up. But that would give us wonderful ideas for field testing the literally thousands of campaigns that I have in preliminary stages from the 36 years of playing, right? So lots and lots of material to test out, to get done. Sorry, got a little mosquito bite there. But the resort would be something I could have a little restaurant at. But also for the older guys, let's not talk summer camp season, but just, you're done. You're sick of Canada. You're paying way too much taxes. You don't like being a victim of crime. You don't like living along all the crazies. You're done. I live really, really, really comfortably for under $1,000 a month. Now, I say that 1,000, and people know on the channel I used to say 700 because it was 700. But inflation has creeped up. Even just since I've been back in Canada, I've been living on dollar store foods. I'm not living on steaks and stuff, right? Because I don't have the budget. I just don't. I eat some extra fish when I have a fish run. But these cans of meat, when I first got here, were $2.25 in the dollar store. Now they're $3 today, right? So every week I watched it go to $2.50, and I wasn't sure, was it $1.25? Was it $2.25 or was it $2.50? I didn't know. I didn't pay that much attention. And then I saw it was $2.75. I was like, oh, no. It was $2.50. And then today it was $3. And I've been back, 4 months? 4.5 months? I mean, March, April, May, June. Yeah, 4.5 months. So it's one of those things where it should, if you're a senior, if you had a good job and you can retire, if you just got a little nest egg house, like I was talking to my ex today and said the same thing. She sold the house here and decided to go live over there somewhere. She would never have to work again. Plus, she'd have her government pension. It's just crazy. I don't understand why people aren't bailing from this place. So I am looking forward to bailing from this place. But if I had that resort property, it could be like an instant landing ground for people. They could use it as a temporary base while they figure out what island they want to end up at. Or if they're building a home, they live there while they're dealing with building a home, right? Um, as well as being for emergency expats who just shit happens. They have a bad luck. Wait until their embassy can send them home on a cheap flight. Maybe they got to be holed up for 3 months there while they're waiting for the flight. That's fine. Let's be realistic, guys. I can, if I was in that situation as like a broke old dude, or say me, paying for that person, it's less than $200 a month. You can keep someone alive over there as a secondary if they've got shelter for like 7,000 pesos. Why do I know that? Because Filipino people live over there on less than that. So it's one of these things where in that situation, it's two old guys who have nothing, who are living on the streets, who got picked up, who like the government of Philippines says, hey, we're going to send you to Club Jimmy. They're in a dormitory situation. They don't even have their own like little mini condo. We're not there to like let them continue to enjoy their failure. We're just there to be safety, to be like, okay, you're not going to die on the streets, or whatever other bad things are happening to you. You're safe until your flight home. And I'm sure most of the governments could probably even figure out ways to send them ID, renew their passports, and they have a base now just for that 3 months till they're flying out. Do you know what I mean? So I think there's a social need for something like that over there, and I don't mind doing it. I'm still young. I'm in my 40s. Like I could spend the next 30, 40 years being, um, an expat anchor point, right? A place where, crap happens, or, you're having an issue with your woman, you're over there, you're married and she's crazy. You can just be like, I'm out. I'm going to sneak your stuff to one of my many storage facilities. Because that's the other thing. I talked to my friend over there. I'm like, there's no storage facilities like there is here. And I would have one near almost all the airports, because I don't think that's the kind of business over there that you would really have to worry about making a profit on. I think it's a no-brainer. Like for other expats who are used to that kind of storage kind of thing, But also, I mean, these one or two security guards, that's fine. You let them live in a hut on the property, or you let a family live on the property that has no access to the units. And the units are all alarmed. So it's just one of those things where, you could probably rent one of those units for $200-300 a month. Over there, that's a crazy amount of money. Over there, that's 12,000 pesos a month per unit. That's for storage. But I know I would have done it in a heartbeat. Instead of all my stuff being stored with a guy who's with a crazy woman who might destroy my shit, uh, or leaving it with someone who might get angry at me tomorrow and destroy all my shit. I've heard so many stories about what guys do when they have to go home with their stuff, and scooters that get pawned, this and that and this and that. You just lock it all in a self-storage. You got a key. The main manager, who doesn't live on the property, has a key. Maybe a master key to the locks. Do you know what I mean? It'd be one of these things where it just makes sense. It just makes sense, So, and you could build those, because over there they build everything really quick, really cheap. Cinder block is dirt cheap. It's like 3 cents a block. Yeah, yeah. Like I'm already thinking that's one of the things I want to do near the Jensen Airport. And so I've already moved my stuff. I'll go up to San Carlos, but like there's so many empty available plots of land for sale in that area now. Yeah. We can't own this, we can't own that, but a company could. So a company owning these self-storage facility lands, sure, you bring in some Filipino partners on a share system, meaning they own shares. They don't actually have anything to do with the business or the properties or anything themselves. It is simply yeah, you want to help invest? You want to put your name down in this business, this corporation, because we need 60%? Okay. And here's your dividend every year. Do you know what I mean? So, and they would like that. They don't have dividends. It's crazy. Like I'm saying, wrong channel. I'll get back to that on the other one when I talk about it. So, yeah, just an update. I'm counting down the days. I'm working on projects. I'm vehicleless. I've got 3 more fish runs to go. Now, the one that's coming up in a few days will turn a profit. Not much, but, it's middle of summer. It's kind of disappointing because normally I would be moving crazy amounts of product right now. Then there's one at the end of the month. Makes sense. Senior people get their money. It'll be last chance for people who get money at the beginning of the month to get a big stash to hold on to when I'm gone. And then I'll do one 2 or 3 days before I fly out, just to really go home with as much as I can in my personal account, because shit, I'm right now got nothing. So I will get on that plane with nothing if I have to, because I have responsibilities over there now, paying rent on a house. I've got stuff in storage, etc., etc. I owe, so I gotta go. And even though the money I owe is very small amounts, over there it's a lot, but I've got everything listed online. I mean, I'm selling an RV. I'm selling a boat. I'm selling a trailer. I'm selling cars. Like, I got boots online. Like, literally, I'm selling everything I possibly can. So I just hope it moves. Now, I use a platform called Kijiji, which is funny because it's only available in Canada. So all my Filipino clients, no point in checking that out. But it's just a way where, I won't be able to check the ads when I leave. So I'll just have to pretty much be like, to my youngest son, I'm going to put it as an app on the phone I'm giving him for his birthday. And he's in charge of slinging the stuff when I'm gone. But tomorrow, everything comes from Amazon, so I'll finish the RV for anyone who's been following that. It's 30 minutes now. It's going to take 2 days to load this up. So by the time you see this, I'll have it done. I mean, I'll post the RV video already. But like, follow, subscribe, share, tell a friend, and ciao.